Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
A devastating fatal crash here at Northwestern and Orchard Lake that tied up traffic for hours. I have some video that shows the moments leading up to the crash.
You may have heard of the nonprofit Make Your Date. It's run by a woman connected to Mayor Mike Duggan, and now the Attorney General's office is looking at it.
The waves are lashing over seawalls, flood warnings in effect up and down the lake shore, and the trouble is far from over.
But we're going to begin with a horrifying story emerging from the small community of Fawn River Township near the Michigan-Indiana border. That's where a mother is dead. Her 9-year-old son. Her 9-year-old son has been charged with her murder. Topping our news today at 5, this small community is simply stunned, as they would be. Can a 9-year-old child be capable of such a crime?
Well, investigators say yes, and they've charged this boy with open murder. So let's bring in Rod Maloney. He spent the day in St. Joseph County, and Rod, a family member is speaking out, and what she has to say is chilling.
Yeah, it is, and it's such a sad situation here. We're at the St. Joseph County Courthouse. The shooting happened on Monday, about 20 minutes from here. Yesterday, there was a preliminary hearing for the little boy here inside the courthouse. He is now in the juvenile justice system. And we talked to his sister, his adopted sister, this afternoon, and this is what she had to say. This is 51-year-old Pauline Randall, shot to death inside her Fawn River Township home Monday morning. This is one of the many loving pictures she published on Facebook of her with her adopted son. She also posted a picture of her and her husband in 2016 along with a judge when she adopted the little boy in Indiana. It's a far cry from what the St. Joseph County Sheriff's Office tells us. He allegedly shot her with a rifle. Harley Martin is the boy's adopted sister.
I want people to know that he's not a bad kid, that this was not something that he would have just done just to be spiteful, to be mean.
Harley did say her mother adopted the boy from a mother who had a drug problem, which Harley said caused the boy many problems.
He had a lot of mental issues that were not getting helped. He started new medication last week. Who knows how that reacted.
Still, neighbor Joe Lancaster says he knew the little boy and claims he went unsupervised a lot.
Shooting bow and arrow with BB guns, and he shot at my grandkids with the BB gun a few times.
Did you actually see that?
Yes, and I told him, I said, I'll spank your butt, I catch you doing that again.
As for her mother, Harley says,
she was loving, caring, stop anything on a dime to help anybody. She bend over backwards for anybody. God, she was amazing.
Now, in addition to the open murder charge against the 9-year-old boy, he also faces felony firearms charges. In the meantime, Harley said that she was here yesterday for the hearing. And in one of the more emotional corners of this, she says, is that he asked where his mother was because she believes that he doesn't know what happened in that shooting on Monday. And so it's likely, because he's under the age of 10 and is considered legally incompetent, at least under Michigan law, that he's going to see some psychological examinations along the way as part of his court system or route through the court system. Back to you.
So, Rod, as far as the relationship between the two, were there signs that the boy and the mother didn't get along?
Well, yes, there were some signs that she posted on Facebook that sort of foreshadowed some of the issues that she had been having, but also she was desperately trying to encourage him. And we'll take all of that up on Local 4 News at 6.
It's just awful. We'll look forward to your story coming up, Rod. Thanks.
Now to breaking news into our newsroom from Washington. The House Judiciary Committee has voted to advance a measure that would hold Attorney General William Barr in contempt of Congress for refusing to respond to their request for the unredacted Mueller report.
This comes as the president asserts executive privilege to block lawmakers from seeing the unredacted report. Blaine Alexander will take a closer look at the constitutional collusion, but in just a few minutes, coming up at 5:15.
It was Rudyard Kipling who admired the man who could keep his head while all about him were losing theirs. He could have been talking about Bob Berg. The longtime confidant and spokesman for Coleman Young passed away this morning. He was a ubiquitous presence in Detroit, relied upon by many for his counsel and advice. In fact, he often helped me understand what I'd gotten myself into when I came to Detroit so many years ago. After leaving politics, he co-founded the Berg Muirhead PR firm. Always a gentleman, always calm, and always collected. He had been fighting multiple myeloma for several years. Bob survived by his 3 children, his 4 grandchildren, and his longtime partner and our dear friend around here at Local 4, Wanda Brock. Bob Berg, dead at the age of 76.
Well, just in here at 5, the second suspect in the Greektown shooting is in police custody. DPD says Delano Ward was arrested today in Oak Park. He's considered to be one of 4 people involved in the shooting that left 3 people injured. No word yet on charges, but we'll be sure to keep you updated.
Our other top story today at 5, Mayor Duggan denying now that he has ties or directed money to a Detroit nonprofit that is now under investigation by Michigan's Attorney General.
That investigation surrounds an organization aimed at preventing preterm births and the Wayne State doctor who leads it. Let's bring in Defender Kevin Dietz. And Kevin, the mayor was pressed on that issue today.
Yeah, he sure was. It seems no matter where the mayor goes or what the mayor wants to talk about, the issue of this nonprofit and the woman who runs it keeps popping up. And today, the mayor answered questions about it. What started as a billboard stunt by businessman Bob Carmack to embarrass the mayor for showing up at a woman's house has turned into 2 investigations into the nonprofit Make Your Date. Dr. Sonia Hassan is the woman in Carmack's video and the director of Make Your Date. The city attorney general is investigating to see if the mayor or city showed favoritism to the program. The attorney general's office is investigating to see if Make Your Date is properly raising money as a nonprofit. The mayor says he welcomes a thorough look.
Here's what I know for sure. Not $1 of city money ever went to the nonprofit. So when this is all said and done, you can take this to the bank. There's been an intentional effort to confuse all this.
Duggan says the GuideStar nonprofit watchdog website will back him up, and it does show Make Your Date as inactive. Dr. Hassan is also part of Wayne State's Make a Date program that works on the problem of premature birth, and the city says it's making a big difference in Detroit.
We got an individual doctor who volunteered her time to help women and never accepted a dollar. So I feel very comfortable. I'm not going to say anything else. Let the investigations take their course.
The Attorney General has sent the city 2 letters requesting information, which have not been answered by the city. The mayor says they will be.
What I was told is they have till May 22nd and they're going to have their forms filed by then. That's the beginning and end of what I know.
What the Attorney General's review is going to do is follow the money. They're going to find out who's putting money in and where that money is going, and if they're collecting money as a nonprofit, if they have all the correct paperwork to do that properly. The mayor doesn't seem too worried about it. He said that he believes that the nonprofit is not collecting any money. It's inactive, and he believes that the Wayne State program is run exactly as it's supposed to be.
Kevin, as far as the investigation goes, do we know how long it will take?
There's no timetable on it, but it'll go a lot faster if the city and the program turn over all their records. If they aren't cooperating in that, then they'll have to get subpoenas, which will take longer. But either way, the Attorney General's office is going to get a look at those records.
Yeah, so much more to come on this. Okay, Kevin.
As been predicted yesterday, we've got flood warnings now in effect tonight up and down the shores of Lake St. Clair and Lake Erie. Look at this video from Sky 4. This is the scene in Monroe. The waves just slamming over the seawalls, onshore winds causing a real mess right now.
Yeah, let's get right over to Ben right now. Is the wind going to die down anytime soon here, Ben?
It will, guys, but it looks like it's going to peak probably about 10 o'clock tonight. So until then, these wind speeds may start increasing. They've been the worst down there in Monroe County. Right now, sustained winds 16, but it's the direction. It's all coming onshore for Lake Erie, Lake St. Clair, and Lake Huron. Gusts have been over 25, even topping 30 miles per hour at times. So lakeshore flood warning still in effect for Monroe and Wayne County, also for Macomb County, and the advisories in effect up here for St. Clair and Sanilac counties. And that is until tomorrow, until 2 p.m. on Thursday. That's where we're going to see those winds shift around to the south, and it should ease those flooding concerns on the east side. Otherwise, it's turned out to be a fairly nice night for a lot of us. A little bit breezy, but temperatures in the 50s, a lot warmer tomorrow and a lot wetter. Showers and storms in the forecast, and we'll look at that next. Guys?
And new at 5, police confirmed 2 people have now died after an SUV wrapped around a light pole this morning at Northwestern Highway and Orchard Lake. Police say the driver was involved in a chase, but police called off that chase before the accident happened. Let's bring in Sean Lay. Sean, brand new piece of video that you have here seems to support that.
That's right, Kimberly. It's a small snippet of video that we found. We'll play it for you right away. A small snippet, but telling a big piece of this story. Tonight, police are reviewing the security camera footage that shows the last few moments before the crash. Watch again. That streak at the top of your screen is an SUV speeding up Northwestern Highway. 10 full seconds after passing by the camera, you see 2 Farmington Hills police vehicles. Their lights off. Those lights then switched on because the officers could see that the driver ahead of them crashed. Here's the results. That SUV nearly split in 2 when the driver slammed into a utility pole at the Orchard Lake intersection. 1 man was killed here, 36-year-old Matthew Mercado from Waterford Township. A 24-year-old woman named Jasmine Glynn from Warren later died at the hospital. The whole thing started when an officer spotted the SUV a mile south of here at 13 Mile and Northwestern with a headlight out. Before the officer could pull the driver over, the driver took off so fast, police gave chase, then quickly called it off because it was just too dangerous.
My understanding from Farmington Hills that it was terminated prior to the accident, to the traffic crash.
Watch again, a driver desperate to get away, making a deadly decision, unable to control that SUV. Back here live, a couple of things here to talk about. One, police, again, we just checked with them at the top of the hour. They say they still cannot exactly confirm who was driving the SUV, the man or the woman. They have an idea, but they haven't confirmed it, who was driving as of yet. We asked if either of them had any warrants. They're not answering that question right now, so it remains a mystery about why they ran from police. Back to you.
All right, Sean. Neighbors say it's happening far too often for it to be a coincidence.
It makes me scared.
A house fire spreads to other homes overnight, and this definitely isn't the first time it's happened.
Also, this one's going to be a doozy. MDOT shutting down a massive stretch of freeway this weekend, and the detour isn't really going to be much help.
But first, we continue to follow breaking news from Washington, where a House panel has just voted to hold Attorney General William Barr in contempt. We're gathering details, and we'll bring them to you next.